Hello and welcome everyone. Thank you for joining the Career Readiness and Job Placement Team's Get Work Wednesday webinar. We have some amazing representatives here with us today from some great companies, including Boys and Girls Club of North San Mateo County, Enterprise Holdings, Tesla, and Proactive Network Consulting. My name is Renee Liang, and I am currently the Job Placement Coordinator for Business Entrepreneurship and Management. I want to begin with a big thank you to all the representatives who have joined us to provide information about the incredible job opportunities that are available, especially during these complicated times that we are living in. And I want to start off by asking each one of you to please introduce yourself and your role, as well as share more about the products and or services that your company is providing within the community, excuse me. And I'm going to start off with Rolando from Boys and Girls Club. Hi, Rolando. Can you tell us a little about yourself and about the products and services that your company provides within the community?
Awesome. Well, thank you, Renee. And Alexa, thank you again for making this all possible. I know you work with a great team, so thanks again. So like Renee mentioned, I work for the Boys and Girls Clubs. My name is Rolando Madrid. I'm the Senior Director of the Boys and Girls Clubs of North San Mateo County. We have 5 clubhouses, and all total, we service about 4,000 kids a year. Obviously, that looks different now since March, but that was before, obviously, and I'll talk a little bit about now. I've been in the after school space close. I want to date myself here, but I've been in the after school space for about 29 years now. I started in New York City doing after school programming in Queens, New York, then moved to Chicago, where I really kind of grew into the profession, working in Pilsen, La Villita, very Latino-based communities, and then made my way to the West Coast to really work with a dynamic organization like the Boys and Girls Clubs of North San Mateo County. Now, let me kind of clarify this. It's important. Is we're a national organization. We're in pretty much every state. We're also international, and we've been around for 165 years. Here's a fun fact: the Boys and Girls Clubs actually started by 4 women in Boston, Massachusetts, back in the 1800s. We have been servicing the South City community, South San Francisco and Pacifica community for about 70 years now. And we have a wide range of programming, right? So our focus is primarily in the after school space, and we do everything under the sun. So from music education to arts education to academic enrichment to academic tutoring to physical fitness. One of the things I just want to share with the group in my experience has been one of the things that I love about the Boys and Girls Clubs is that we open doors in any category. So we're not focused in, right? We're not focused in on just reading or just math or just academics or just physical fitness. One of the reasons that attracted me to the organization was the versatility of it all, right? That we're able to engage children in all different types of aspects. And one of the things that, and the reason why we do that, obviously it's multifold and not to take too much time, but one of the reasons why we do that is we try to explore their passions, right? We try to look at what it is that glows, right? Or something that they've never been exposed to that they're able to do with us. So some of the positions I'll talk about later have a very key part of it because we take pride a lot in not only offering that robust amount of programming, but it's also having staff that are looked upon as mentors, right? As young people that can inspire the next generation. So many people have gone through our clubhouse, chiefs of police and fire department, you name it, heads of hospitals, and they'll always reflect back at saying, I met this wonderful program coordinator, their name X, and she or he inspired me to be what I am today. That's powerful. And that's something that I love about our organization. So I'll pause there. Hopefully I answered your question, but I'm glad to be here and thanks for having me.
Thank you so much, Rolando, for sharing all of that with us. Yes, I've heard of Boys and Girls Club too, and I know the amazing things that you provide for the company. As I was growing up in San Francisco, I also heard about this program, and I'm really glad that you're able to join us today to share these opportunities with the Skyline College community.
Thanks,
And
Renee.
next, Yes, and next our representative Casey from Enterprise Holdings. Can you also share with us about yourself and about your company and the products and services that are provided within the community?
I will, yeah. Thanks, Renee. Thanks so much for having me today. And Rolando, I can attest the Pacifica Clubhouse. My kid went there last summer or the summer before. He loved it. He had a really good time. So it's a nice area too, back in the valley there. So thank you, everyone. My name is Casey Porter. My position is I'm a talent acquisition manager, and I work for Enterprise Holdings. We are really well known for our three really distinct brands that the family who owns Enterprise owns. And so we have Enterprise Rent-A-Car, Alamo Car Rental, and National Car Rental. So we are a worldwide organization with over 100,000 employees and over 10,000 locations here in the US. And we provide transportation. We try to be the total transportation provider. So whether you need to rent a car or buy a car or lease a car or rent a truck or rent a car by the hour, we try to have all those different solutions for you. And we do have locations along the peninsula here. We're really popular in a lot of neighborhoods. That's usually where you'll see our branches. We do have airport locations, but what we're really well known for is for being a partner in the neighborhoods and really helping the communities we serve in. And so I've actually been with Enterprise. I just had my 20th anniversary, so I started off in a part-time customer service role while I was finishing up college at Notre Dame Danny Muir down in Belmont. And I really fell in love with the culture and the company, really liked the people that worked here. And whenever I graduated in 2002, I entered our full-time management training program. And then from there moved up into various leadership roles, branch manager, regional manager. And then about 6 years ago, I became a talent acquisition manager. So I have the pleasure of recruiting at all of our Bay Area colleges and universities and really helping hire a diverse workforce so that our branches and our offices really mirror the communities that we do business in. So I'm really happy to be here today. We've had a lot of great Skyline students that have gone on to have really great careers with us, and I can't wait to share some of those opportunities with everybody.
Thank you so much, Casey. I'm excited to hear more about that later. And next, we have Peter and Farheen from Tesla. Can you both introduce yourselves and tell us a little bit more about your company and the products and services that are provided for the community?
Thanks, Renee. Farheen, would you like to lead us off?
Sure. Hi, good morning, everyone. My name is Farheen Mohammed. As Renee mentioned, I'm one of the representatives from Tesla. I'm based in Los Angeles and have been on the recruiting side at Tesla for almost 5 years. Thinking holistically, Tesla obviously has vehicles and solar tiles in the marketplace, but we have about 130 stores across North America, and I'm going to say roughly about 100 service centers. We're also a global company with about 30 locations across various countries, and we're excited to partner with Renee, Alexa, and Skyline College to help find talent as well.
Thank you, Farheen. And Peter, would you like to introduce yourself as well?
Yeah. Hey, guys. My name is Peter Kalangi, and I'm a service recruiter based in San Diego. I mainly focus on the San Diego and Hawaii region. And as Farheen had alluded to, yes, we're Tesla, and we're growing on a global scale. So to all these future automotive technology and technician candidates, especially since you guys have that program, this could be really conducive towards your future and quite possibly even Tesla's future. So yeah, would love to glad to be here. Renee, I apologize. Did you want us to kind of start talking about it a little now, or are we just doing the little intros?
Thank you, Peter. Yeah, this is just the intros, and then we'll get into the job
Got it.
opportunities.
Oh yeah, thank you.
Everything. Thank you so much. And last but not least, we have Michelle from Proactive Network Consulting. Hi, Michelle. Can you also introduce yourself and tell us a little bit more about your company?
Sure. Hi, I'm Michelle Londoño, and my company is Proactive Network Consultant. And as you can imagine, we are a small business, so it's a little bit different than some of the other representatives here, which is great. Show you what's all out there in the community. We have been around in the financial district of San Francisco for the past 23 years. Have always been in the city. Actually, we also live in the city and we're very much part of this community. We do serve clients from San Francisco through Oakland as our range. We partner with clients to make them very long-term partnerships and just build those relationships. We are all about relationship building. So with our partners as well as our staff, that means that we make sure that our culture is super warm and welcoming to our staff. We aim to keep it diversified and inclusive, as well as, representing who we are, which we are quite a mixed bag in the Bay Area. So our founder is Mexican American, and I myself is our Colombian American. So we consult also small, about the same size, a little bit bigger, small to medium-sized businesses in San Francisco, and that means up to 100 users or staff, and supporting other local small businesses and make sure they are run well and are happy, and what we can do to keep going in this COVID time. We've had to, support them a little bit different, but it hasn't changed much how we work, other than it's a little more remote, little bit less on site, going off to their visits, visiting them. But we still do that because sometimes you need to. So we still provide that 24/7. So if it's either remote or it is in person, that's what we're there for. And so what does that mean? A little bit like somebody doesn't know what an IT business does is we do, what used to be called servers. Now they're virtual servers mostly, but some of them are physical servers, support their actual desktop if they have a desktop or a laptop. If they have new staff, these businesses are bringing on or offboarding staff, means they're letting go, unfortunately furloughed, and that means doing all their IT side. What does that mean to connect or reestablish them back into that client's whole network? So those are like the physical, traditional IT, and then the consultant side is how can we help them work now in this pandemic and continue and evolve, and what does that mean so their business can keep flowing? And so that's our consultant arm. And then our third service or arm is our Proactive Cloud. And we either physically host them in the cloud or we help them get established in the cloud of their choice. And that's who we are in general, what we do. Definitely planning to stay in this community and staying in San Francisco. We're not leaving. And we are on LinkedIn, by the way, and Facebook. So if you want to find us, we're there. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Michelle, and thank you again all for giving us some intriguing background information about yourself and the companies that you represent. And we can move right into hearing about these awesome job opportunities that are available right now. Alexa, can you please introduce our first representative to talk about the job opportunities that are currently available?
Of course. Thank you so much, Renee. My name is Alexa Moore, and I'm the Job Placement Coordinator for Society and Education. I'm super excited to hear all the different positions that are available today from our representatives. And it's good to see you again, Rolando. Would you be so kind to tell us more about the positions that you have, including, I know, the program coordinator position, and what would be those qualifications as well as the most important skills for those positions?
Yeah, thank you, Alexa. I think one of the positions that is key really is the backbone, literally, of our organization are our program coordinators. Typically, if I was to kind of put a profile to our program coordinators, they're usually college students, part-time sometimes, or full-time. Sometimes they're first to market, so it's their first job. And a lot of them tend to want to continue in the space of education, whether they want to be an administrator, they want to be a classroom teacher, they want to get exposure in that space. I think one of the values at the Boys and Girls Clubs, and this really comes with time, right? Because we've been around so long, is we really have, and I'm very proud of it, and I've helped develop it along the years, is we really have an excellent kind of entry program for our young people. So it's not, hey, welcome, go, have at it, good luck. It has nothing to do with that. Really what we do is we put them through a lot of training, from curriculum development, right? What is a curriculum? To classroom management, to knowing what an IEP is, right? For students with special needs at schools, how to read those, communicating with teachers. How do you communicate with them? What's the best way to communicate with them? Social emotional training. And these types of trainings can be used not only for your work, but for yourself, right? So how do you know when you're stressed out? What are the characteristics of that? So I say all this not to kind of go which way or the other, but to really show you that it's important that it's a full package investment in a young person when they start at the club. Because we know that they're going to be working directly with students, primarily 1st through 8th grade. We want to make sure that they come into the classroom prepared. And what a lot of them take with them is, hey, I love teaching, or I want to be in the teaching profession. I want to continue on, or maybe teaching is not for me. I've kind of been exposed to that. So they are really, truly treasured staff among us, because without them, we couldn't do the work we do. A typical day for a program coordinator could be, a 7:30 a.m. start to a 12 o'clock, or maybe a 12 o'clock to a 6 o'clock start. I use those times right now because obviously school is 100% virtual. But once it does go back, God willing soon, we'll be more in the after school model. So it will be about a 2:30 to about 6 p.m. range. A couple other things I just want to share with the group is we really do a lot of investing in meeting with the team, right? Bringing in all the program coordinators from all of our sites to learn best practices. So what is a Yosemite site doing that an Orange Park site is doing, and we're sharing? I think another Boys and Girls Clubs is that we have a very strong national organization that's based in Atlanta that have a tremendous amount of opportunities for our students. For our workers, for our program coordinators. So what happens is they're able to log on to those and really get a tremendous amount of training through our national organization. And then they're able to kind of continue on training through our national organization as well. So not only do they get the training from internal, but they also get it from our national, which we all go through pretty much. Last thing I'll say here. I think one of the great things of being a program coordinator for our organization is that we're constantly growing and innovating. Examples, as March hit, as we all felt it, we closed down temporarily. But immediately in April, opened back up as an essential organization to really help with critical childcare needs for our community, so we can help our economy get back to going. So we had emergency room nurses and doctors and firefighters and police officers, anyone who had a child who really needed that support, our program coordinators and us, we were there. On the next month, we were open already. Another example of how innovative we are and how we continue to keep our doors open is right now we're launching learning hubs within South San Francisco. And really what that is as we all know, schools are closed, but there are children that are falling severely behind because of the virtual platform, right? My son included, who's a 12-year-old. So what schools have decided to do is they said, okay, let's partner with the Boys and Girls Club, and we'll make sure to have a hub at the campus that will be small, obviously a bubble cohort of about 12 students, and let's pick the students that are falling the most behind. Again, program coordinators get trained on how to work with children who are academically behind or who have, certain tendencies that would need some interventions early. So again, it's a very broad position, but it's very well scoped in the way that we train them and that we kind of bolster their positions. And those key assets, as anyone can attest here, as Casey or Peter or Michelle could say, is it fills their toolbox for the future. So we're real proud of that. There's also tremendous opportunity to grow within the Boys and Girls Clubs, right? We not only have program coordinator positions, but we have site directors and managers and area directors. All those positions are open, and a lot of them, if you were to interview a lot of our staff, they all start at the program coordinator level. and they built themselves up into those key positions. Running one of our clubhouses, for instance, that comes with a lot more administrative work. So you're not really working with the students so much anymore. But again, a lot of program coordinators have gone through that pipeline, so to speak, and are now excellent site directors running organizations, running some of our clubhouses. So I'll pause there.
Great. Thank you so much, Rolando. This is an amazing position. I feel like a great way for anyone to start gaining experience working with children or furthering their experience. It's a part-time position, which is also great while you're in school or have other, priorities. So it's really flexible. I wanted to ask, is there a minimum qualification that candidates should know, like, in order to
Yeah.
apply?
Yeah, typically, one of the things that I look for personally in my 30 years in this space is a passion to want to learn, right? Is a passion for the job, is a passion to really explore that. I'll take that any day over anything else. But we typically tend to look for first, second, third year university students. It could be obviously graduate students that want to really get back in the space. They don't have to really have a major that they're like an education major or this kind of major. We typically will work with them on that, and kind of expose them to those areas. And then someone who's really, who has a strong desire to engage with people. It's very important that you have that charisma, that you have that wanting to do good, right? And really wanting to work with young people to really bring the best out of them. So in our interview process, we really look for things like that. For example, we give a kind of a model or a test lesson plan that we have our PCs go through, right? Our program coordinators go through to see how they interact, right? How they are able to engage with young people. And then we train them on that and help them on how to do that if they need further coaching on that. So those are kind of some main areas that we look for. Obviously, bilingual is always a plus as well because we work in such a diverse community, but it's not a deal breaker, so to speak. So hopefully that answers your question, Alexa.
Yeah, thank you so much. I feel like you answered most of my next question as well, but given the fact that there's opportunity for growth within the company, there's a lot of on-hands training, which is, amazing. So they can actually candidates can gain the skills as a program coordinator and continue to enhance those skills with the training and the meetings that you guys provide. I just wanted to know if there was anything else you wanted to add about why the Boys and Girls Club would be an amazing company to work for. So any additional perks or anything like that you wanted to add before we moved on to the next representative?
Yeah, I think, for me, I chose a nonprofit space really to sink my roots in. And I think for people who toward that space, it's such a beautiful first job or second job to be part of. Because you see a lot in all these companies that are here today. There's so much good that happens, but especially in this space, working with children, you really see the best of so many amazing people. That's an intangible, but it's something that you get each and every day. People come to our door saying, "Hey, I want to help. Let me support you guys in this way or that way or the other way." So the opportunities or the things that our program coordinators see, right? They get invited obviously before March to just amazing opportunities, amazing events. For example, we have some amazing ballerinas from the San Francisco Nutcracker doing virtual shows for all our children. But not only that, they're actually live talking to our kids. These are world-renowned artists talking to our students. So program coordinators have that exposure, right? They get to meet so many different people from so many different areas that maybe they may not meet, CEOs of tech companies and government officials that they probably would never be exposed to at that point in their career. They are exposed to when they work with us because of the opportunities that we're able to provide for the impact, the overall impact for our children. So I guess that's my long-winded response to that great question.
Thank you so much, Rolando. That was so informative. And this is a great position. As I mentioned already for anyone, and as you mentioned already, for anyone who's really eager to work with children and has that charisma and that passion. Also within our early childhood education programs, including elementary education and even our psychology programs, people who are in or have those education and background could be a good experience for them to, if they've never worked with children or been around in that setting or want to enhance it, can definitely take advantage of this opportunity. And thank you so much for sharing it. I really appreciate it.
You.
And we'll go ahead and I'll pass our virtual mic back to Renee.
Thank you, Alexa and Rolando. Our next representative is Casey Porter from Enterprise Holdings. Hi, Casey. Can you please tell us about the positions that are available at Enterprise Holdings?
Sure will. Thank you, Renee. So we have many positions that we hire for. The main one that I'm usually charged with is hiring for our management development program, which is an entry-level role. It does require a 4-year degree, but what we've seen a lot is, just like myself, I started while I was still obtaining my degree, and then I went full-time once I did obtain that degree. But it's pretty amazing that 99% of our senior executives, all the way up to our CEO, started as a management trainee. So learning how to run a business, learning how to help customers, learning really the ins and outs of how to run a $1 to $2 million small business. But we need a lot of support staff in order to support the work that our teams are doing out in the field. So a lot of the roles that I hire for right now in the Bay Area would be auto detailers. So people to help us make sure we're renting a very clean product to our customers, especially with all the concerns right now. Obviously with COVID-19, we've instituted what we call the Complete Clean Pledge, with making sure that every vehicle that gets rented is completely clean and people can feel really good about it. And that's really allowed us to see our business really start to tick up, is a lot of customers are still a little skeptical about flying. And so we're seeing a lot of business right now for people that want to go on road trips or travel for the holidays. And let me just start, I should have started by saying all of the positions that I'm about to tell you about, a prerequisite is we do require a driver's license, and we look back 3 years on your motor vehicle report. So excessive tickets, speeding, things like that, 1 or 2 we can deal with, but anything over 3 is probably going to be a barrier for you, because driving is a prerequisite for the job. Another role that I hire for is customer service representatives at our San Francisco airport location. So those are people who are going to help customers who are coming off planes. There's sales, there's customer service. It's pretty intense. You know, you're helping people who have a mission, they're trying to get someplace, and we're sort of the last step before they could get on with the rest of their day. And so it's a big part of it is being able to build a really quick relationship, because that's the goal, is that we want somebody who's going to have such a great customer experience that they're going to want to come back and use our company again in the future, whether it's here or anywhere else in the world. But that's a really fun position. The pay is in the $19 to $20 range, and you get to learn a lot about sales and service, and you get to work with a really great team. And plus the hours are really flexible, because our airports are open from 5 in the morning until about 1 o'clock in the morning. And so for college students, there's a schedule in there that hopefully will work for you. We also hire drivers, right? We need people to help us move our cars from location to location, for people to, sometimes we'll have a branch in the city that needs 10 vehicles. And so we'll move 10 cars from the airport to San Francisco, or vice versa. And so those are really flexible hours as well. But I know we've hired students in the past from Skyline to fill those roles. And then we've had a really great relationship for a long time with the auto program at Skyline. We actually operate 3 service centers in the Bay Area where we're able to do warranty repairs for all the major manufacturers. And so we actually do our own repairs on a lot of our vehicles. And so I hire for auto techs, and I also hire for tire and lube techs. And it's pretty cool. We've been able to hire for the entry-level role, which is the tire and lube tech, and then watch students as they've graduated move into that auto tech role. And we support you in all the training that goes on for your ASE certifications. We help you with all that. And so our service centers that we operate are in Burlingame, where I am right now, and then also in San Jose, and then also in Oakland. So they're really around our airport hubs, and that's where we do a lot of the work on our vehicles. But it's really great. There's a career path for all the different roles that I did mention, whether that's going into more of a supervisor role. But one of the other really neat parts about Enterprise is we only promote from within. So when we have positions for, I don't know, license and title clerks, people who help us with all the license plates and titling all of our vehicles, we don't open that up to the outside. We open that up to our current staff. And so maybe you're part-time looking for a full-time position, you'd be able to reach out for that opportunity. So all the jobs that I do hire for, you can tell they all relate around cars, they all relate around automotives. And then for our customer facing role, we really look for people that are people that are empathetic, people that can communicate really well in a cross-cultural way, people that just genuinely care about making someone's day, is trying to make them happy. Because a lot of the folks that you're going to deal with, you know, renting a car is just a task. It's not something that people look forward to. It's not something people do all the time. And so we really hire people that have the ability to put themselves in the customer's shoes and say, hey, I'm going to take care of you. I'm going to make your day really good, and I'm going to give you a really great customer experience. And for the most part, when people come in to see us, you know, it may be after a car accident, it may be after their car got stolen, so they're having a bad day. But once they meet our people, their day has started to get better. And hopefully our goal is to create a customer for life who's always going to come back and want to rent from us in the future.
Thank you so much, Casey. I think the different positions that are currently available at Enterprise Holdings are all really great opportunities. And as you mentioned, the management trainee program, I think that would be really great for the students at Skyline College studying for business, entrepreneurship, and management, to really learn about like how to run a business and what goes on in the business. And yeah, all the different positions sound really great. I know you mentioned that the driver's license is required. Is there
Yeah.
Any other like skills you would recommend to really like focus on to maybe develop like on their own time to further?
Yeah, no, that's a good question. I mean, you know, you can tell from any of our job descriptions what the core competencies are that we hire for. Our service being results driven, really being flexible, having some communication skills as well, because you're going to deal with a wide variety of clientele. And then also teamwork. That's a really big piece of it. Everything we do here at Enterprise is really mission driven, and that's from our founder who flew airplanes in the Navy off the USS Enterprise. That's where we get our name from. And so everything here is teamwork and mission driven, and that's very, very important. So if you don't really like working with other people, this is probably the best deal, because you're going to be expected to play a huge role in the team that you work with every day. And then I didn't mention, but all of our full-time roles come with really great comprehensive benefits, medical, dental, vision, prescription drug, 19 days of paid time off. We even give you time off to go volunteer for organizations. Maybe you want to go volunteer with the Boys and Girls Club. Well, we provide paid time off for you so you can go do that. And then the family that owns Enterprise provides profit every year for all of our employees. So we all have some skin in the game to want to run a profitable business. And then we also provide a 401k match. So we match dollar for dollar up to 3% of your total compensation. And then of course, you get some really, really good discounts if you ever need to rent a car or buy a car. You definitely get some favorable discounts if you do it through Enterprise.
Thank you so much, Casey. Yeah, those benefits are really great, and I think you answered my next question, which was why your company would be an ideal place to work for, and you mentioned a lot of great benefits and the different programs that are available. Is there anything else you would like to include before we move on to the next representative?
I think I'm good. I think what you'll find here with Enterprise, though, is this is not what any of us thought we were going to do, especially once you obtain your degree. We just happened to probably met somebody that worked here, or we heard about it from the Career Center, or we heard that, hey, this is a company that's willing to train you and develop you and provide opportunities for you, which is my first goal in life was to be a school teacher. So when I graduated, I had to sort of balance, do I go work for this multi-billion-dollar corporation, or do I pursue my dreams of teaching? But you know, I've been here 20 years, and now sort of life goes full circle, because the majority of my time now I spend teaching, you know, college students how to interview and how to write resumes and how to prepare for life after college. So I'm doing what I wanted to do. It just, I took a different path to get there. And then what I'll also do is I'll share in the chat in a little bit, if anybody wanted to stay in touch after this, you can go on and put your name and your phone number so that we can follow up with each other afterwards.
Thank you so much, Casey.
Yeah, thank you.
And now I would like to pass the mic back to Alexa.
Thank you, Renee, and thank you, Casey, for sharing those positions. Those sound really great with Enterprise. I'm gonna go ahead and introduce our next representatives, Farheen and Peter from Tesla. Welcome. It's great to talk to you guys again. I'm super excited to hear about the positions that you have. So if whoever would like to go first can tell us a little bit more about the titles of the positions and what qualifications are needed, as well as what are some of the most important skills a candidate should possess for these positions.
Perfect. I guess I'll start. I mean, carrying on the theme of impact and automotive. I mean, I recruit for leadership positions supporting our service operations. So if we think about any customer that's going into a service center to get their car troubleshooted and fixed, that's kind of where the service managers and associate managers come into play. But I think collectively, and Peter will probably highlight this as well, 3 or 4 must-haves, I think anyone must possess from a traits perspective to be successful at Tesla. Really just an ability to be curious and think outside the box. I think things are moving so quickly, and we're really trying to change the world one vehicle delivery at a time. So if you're someone who likes to try and fail and be creative, then it's a great place for you to kind of flex your muscles in that space. I think the other characteristic, regardless of if you're coming in as an intern or coming into our START program, career pathing into a technician, or supporting any of our energy initiatives, is customer experience and customer service. I think, these are expensive vehicles or expensive tiles on your home, and customers have a really high level set of expectations. So if you're someone who always just naturally goes above and beyond, really wants to help the customer like it was your own grandmother or grandfather or friend, then I think that's the right personality trait, again, regardless of if you're in leadership or an entry level position. I think the other piece of it would be, at least as it relates to the leadership roles, prior experience in a people management position or supervisory experience. So, what's your leadership philosophy? How do you think about coaching and developing on the spot? We're all really supportive of constructive and open feedback. So if you're comfortable with having those conversations in the moment and really supporting your associates and your peers to make them better, then that's just going to make the entire team better collectively. Larger scale though, I mean, I think that the best way to apply for leadership positions would be on our website. I look at those, at least for the Western region, on a daily basis. But Tesla is a really fast-paced, somewhat chaotic organization. So if you're someone that likes to color outside the lines and likes to kind of not have a playbook on a day-to-day basis, then it could be a good fit for you. And I can hand it off to Peter unless you have questions, Alexa.
No, that was great. I really appreciate, I love, and I'm excited to hear about the positions Peter's going to talk about too, but just the fact that Tesla's so innovative and a company moving forward, that they are open to that non-traditional, hey, try, and if you don't succeed, try again, right? So that's great. I appreciate that.
Yeah, a lot of our positions actually don't require automotive. At least I can attest to some roles on the service side. If you come from like a retail background or a space where you are customer facing, then that's the right mix of experience. I know that our energy roles are probably the most unique in that technicians would have to have a strong pulse or technical knowledge of install. But I'll let Peter talk to that as the expert.
Yeah, of course. Thank you so much, Farheen.
Yeah, of course.
Thanks, Farheen. Yeah, she actually alluded to coloring outside of the lines. I still do that. I actually always loved doing that as a kid. And with color therapy during this pandemic, I have to say, I certainly picked up that as a hobby. But to everyone at Skyline College, I just want to say thanks. It's pretty special to see what Alexa and Renee are doing here. So thank you for taking the time to listen to this webinar. We got some great companies here that are just trying to be as informative as we can. So However, I'm here to discuss Tesla and the roles that I focus on. But I think before I do, I really want to kind of discuss our future and where it's going. So when people think of Tesla, they do think future, right? And that's becoming more and more present as we speak. I mean, just to give you a little perspective, but by 2035, our own governor, Gavin Newsom, here in California, he did a bold statement, which was to phase out gasoline-powered cars so that vehicles can be zero emission. So it's becoming more and more present as we kind of progress and go year by year. But Tesla's growing. I mean, there's no doubt about that. And I think it's more and more apparent. This past quarter, Tesla just delivered the highest number of vehicles in Tesla history, just hovering over 139,000 vehicles, with hopes to have even more higher number in production. But just to give you, once again, a little more perspective, we built a brand new factory in Shanghai, China in 2019. And we're building 2 new factories. I mean, currently as we speak, they're being built. Berlin, Germany, and also here in the US, Austin, Texas. Now, I think that speaks volume as we grow on a more global scale. But because we're growing, we're opening 52 new service centers in North America just to keep up with the demand and ensuring that we have a proper technician to vehicle ratio. Now, as advertised, this is an informative session that is going to be focused on a little bit of service rules, which I refer to as the backbone of our organization, similar to what Rolando said about his roles at the Boys and Girls Club. Now, the roles that I recruit for are service technician, service advisor, parts advisor, and vehicle readiness specialists. Farheen kind of alluded to a little bit of sales, and I can cover that briefly. But of course, mainly I want to focus on is service technicians or anything pertaining to service, especially since, once again, Skyline College has automotive programs specific that are geared towards these roles. Now, service technician, it sounds very straightforward, but it's fulfilling the service orders on our Tesla vehicle lineup. Service advisor will mainly identify the need and the issue of the repair, and in essence, be that liaison between the customer as well as a service technician. Parts advisor, critical role that assists the team and customers as well in ensuring that they have what they need. Vehicle readiness specialists, they really do prepare our vehicles for our customers after it's been serviced. And a lot of one thing for our business is mobile. Now, mobile is very unique and special to Tesla just because we want to provide and continue to provide that white glove service to our customers. And how we do that is by going to their place of employment or residence for any service that they might need. And it's even more critical now, especially during this pandemic. But yeah, Skyline has 2 automotive programs, which I feel can be very conducive towards that path. And now we generally try to seek applicants that have prior experience, mainly with diagnostics or troubleshooting when it pertains to hybrid or electric vehicles that you can often find at automotive dealerships or quite possibly even at Skyline, just because I feel like they are current and up to date with the times, But by all means, we've certainly hired people that have minimal experience or even none. And that program is called START. So it's the opposite of end, but START, right? So, which I recommend checking out on our career site. But some of the top traits, according to our master technicians, just got to be a team player, providing support to others, learning mindset, willingness to learn all aspects of the shop, and motivated. Make goals for yourself and commit to those goals. And lastly, I think if I can provide some unsolicited advice, just keep trying and don't feel discouraged. I know many of you are probably starting your career or quite possibly even changing careers at this point in your life, but you're going to hear more no's than yeses. So I just want you to keep trying and continue to get better. I think this pandemic has certainly caused many of us to evolve and adjust. So just keep trying, keep trekking, and learn, just continue to learn and adapt.
Thank you so much, Peter. That was super informative. And also, I love to hear about Tesla's growth and all the different opportunities that will be continuously opening as the company continues to grow. So thank you so much for sharing that and the qualifications needed in order to even think about beginning applying for these different roles that are available. Did you or Farheen want to share just a little bit more about, and you kind of touched in this embedded in your response already, but what would make working for Tesla just an amazing opportunity? What makes Tesla, the place that these potential candidates want to go and apply to?
I mean, I think immediately what stood out when you asked that question was, I mean, of course, our mission. I think whether you believe in global warming, you have your opinion on it. I'm not here to talk about that, but I mean, that is our mission. That is certainly what we stand by. I think it does accelerate our transition to sustainable energy. So I think a lot of course, the majority of our candidates are passionate about our organization and what we do. But I think all the things and facts that I mentioned certainly allude and project towards growth, especially, going on a global scale. So I think what comes with that is promotional opportunities, learning to grow, being adaptable. I mean, there might be some growing pains just because we are growing at a really rapid rate to meet that demand. But I think that that's just a testament that at Tesla, yeah, there is definitely an infinite amount of possibilities. And it's important for people to, from a professional development perspective, to allow people to continue to grow, to develop their skill sets so that they can be better for themselves, but of course, for the company too. So it's kind of a win-win.
Thank you so much, Peter. I appreciate it. Farheen, did you want to add anything before we moved on to our final representative?
Might be alone in this, but that employee on Tesla gear gets very, very tricky. So I would probably say that's like the biggest perk for someone who is not really automotively inclined, but love the way that the cars look and feel. I do have my fair share of Tesla stuff that I'm guilty of purchasing. But no, I'd echo what Peter said. I mean, benefits across the board for all employees. It starts when you start for yourself, spouse, and dependents. We also have time off for hourly associates, as well as unlimited time off for salaried associates. Employee stock purchase, you can purchase stock at a 15% discount. We offer restricted stock to all of our employees. So kind of as Casey mentioned, everyone's got a little bit of skin in the game to help support the larger mission, and just an exciting environment to be around.
Thank you so much, Farheen, and thank you, Peter. Thank you both for sharing that, the amazing opportunities at Tesla and the opportunities for growth within Tesla as well. I look forward to continuously hearing more about it in the future. And I'll go ahead and give it back to Renee so she can introduce our last employer with us today.
Thank you so much, Alexa, Farheen, and Peter for giving all of that information about Tesla and the opportunities available at Tesla. And last but not least, I would like to introduce Michelle Londono, representing Proactive Network Consulting. Hi, Michelle. Can you tell us about the client liaison position that is currently available at Proactive Network Consulting?
Sure. Thanks, Renee. Yes, we are currently hiring for this very vital position for our company. This is our hub, our central communicator. This is what communication all comes through. So it's a person who needs to be open to receiving from all ends, as well as how do I communicate that back to all our multiple very varied customers. We have customers from across all ranges, from the current theater, which unfortunately right now is the moment on pause, to salons, to CPAs, to lawyer firms. So they're very, very different kind of clients with all very different kind of needs. So it's a person who has to be a good listener, wants to be a good listener, wants to serve, wants to be a person of service is what I call it. Always looking for what is the next thing that person needs. So obviously communicating then all those needs to the principals, to then our tech people who are engineers, who are also very different personalities, as you can imagine, different engineers. So definitely communication is the biggest piece and biggest listener. That's part of what you would understand customer service and experience is about. This person also will help guide the customer experience from point A to point Z. And then if any of us or whoever's missing a piece, they need to be aware of all those pieces that are missing and get them all together. So then again, a very good organizer and a systems creator, maybe even, if there's a system missing or something's out of place, absolutely. And that's what the UX process is about. When I talk about UX, is we look at our systems internally and what needs to be redone, looking at it from a problem perspective and how do we solve that problem. And always looking back and rotating back to that system or that process or that procedure, whatever it is that we are working on at the moment. And that mentality, like nothing's ever finished. We're just up to the next phase. And that doesn't always happen in web development. This is UX, from looking at all our internal processes as well as our clients. So it's putting on that UX lens, but not in creating obviously a website, which I think is what most people think of is website development for UX. We're looking at it for customer experience. So makes it really exciting. This person, would be like the data collection, the research person, help me or any of the team with that collection. So then we can create a seamless process for our clients. And then one part that makes us, unique, obviously being a small company, as you hear, we wear many hats, which is true. Me, myself, I wear several. This person would wear several as well. So it's a person who will be doing many things, but means they don't get to be pigeonholed or be bored doing one task over and over, or just one role over and over, including even doing some client education or training, how to communicate value, which is a little bit of sales, managing client accounts, which is maybe some admin work. So it's definitely quite a mix of bags. So some person who wants to be busy and loves doing many, many things, this is definitely it. And it keeps us, all interested. We are a small team, so we're definitely a small family, and that's communicating who we are and benefits of what it means to work with us, that we are definitely a family that's stick around. We've been around. We had for a very long time somebody in this position, but she retired. So that just shows that she left the position because she wanted to actually pursue other things, but it was retirement age for sure. So that's what we like. We want definitely team members to stick around for a long time, just like our clients. We've had our clients for the full 23 years that we've been in business, and we plan on keeping that so long-term relationships. I don't know, anything else, Alexa, you wanted to ask?
Thank you so much, Michelle.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think the skills that you talked about and like the qualifications, and it's really important to have some good communication, especially when talking with the clients, and also, as you said, to get all the pieces together as you're connecting them with the different teams in order to solve the problem and get it done. I think that is really important to keep in mind if you're interested in this position. And can you also share with us why your company would be an ideal place to work at? Any like the perks or benefits of it?
So on the official benefits, I definitely do believe in supporting our staff and our employees, and do offer our total rewards package, which is, obviously the health benefits and the 401k matching, as well as breakfast with us weekly. What else could you want? Just kidding. Unfortunately, we are not in the office full time, which I really do miss seeing my team and going out for lunches and birthdays and all that. We're still doing happy hours, Zoom, although we're trying to get a little more in person occasionally. So we're getting there. We're part-time and back in the office. We are an essential business, so we actually can work from our office. We've just chosen, obviously, for safety, and we leave it up to our staff how safe and how they feel. Do they want to be in? If they want to be in, absolutely. Use the office. Maybe it's your escape right now from home. Everybody's burnt to working from home, and myself included. So now it's become like, let's go into the office just to get a break. So we leave that flexibility then. And that's one of our perks, is that we are small and we can make changes on the spot because we are the decision makers. We don't have to go and ask anyone else. They can just come and talk to us and what their needs are, and then we can have that conversation. And those are the other perks, obviously, working for a small business.
Thank you so much, Michelle. I agree. I would love to see everyone again in person, but having like the Zoom meetings just to connect with each other is great. It's like I feel like I haven't seen like my team like in so long, but every time we meet each other on Zoom, it's another great way to just connect and to stay together. And I think the client liaison position seems great for someone who has strong communication and organizational skills to provide the excellent service to the clients. And is there anything else you would like to include before we move on?
No, No, that's good. Just, you're welcome to stay in touch with me, even if this position isn't right. There's other positions coming up next year as we move forward and move into a new office space. So we'll be adding some new stuff. So connect with me on the business page. It's probably the best way.
Thank you so much, Michelle. And I want to thank everyone here today with us, Rolando, Casey, Peter, Farheen, and Michelle again for coming to today's webinar and sharing the awesome opportunities available with the Skyline College campus and community. And if we could please give them a virtual round of applause. Thank you so much. And we greatly appreciate the time you have committed today. And I also want to thank the Strategic Partnerships and Workforce Development Division for providing the resources to make this webinar possible. And a big thank you to our fabulous audience members for coming to hear about these available opportunities. And last but not least, the Career Readiness and Job Placement team. And if you're interested in any of the positions and want to learn more, please send an email to landyourdreamjob@gmail.com. This will be dropped into the chat box. And this live webinar has also been recorded and we will be uploading it onto our website. And the website is skylinecollege.edu/career-center. And I would like to open the floor up to our attendees to ask questions related to the positions or companies that we talked about today. You can use the raise hand feature, or you can also type it into the chat box or the Q&A section.
And so I'll jump in just to answer, to follow up with some of the questions I have been answering in the chat, just to confirm with some of our representatives here today. Rolando, we have a couple questions for Boys and Girls Club. Someone had mentioned that could this position be for someone who is older, not just younger? And of course, I mentioned that I know you don't discriminate as for age or anything else, but just to confirm that, is this a job that someone who might be more mature can actually apply for as well?
Oh, Rolando, you're on mute.
You're on mute. There you go.
Yes, of course. Yeah, obviously, I was gearing it toward the audience here primarily, but it's open, and we have a lot of program coordinators that have come in who are retired teachers, who are have been in the profession, want to continue in that profession in a different way. So they like. A great example is we have some teachers that are program coordinators that have been teaching for many, many years and wanted to get out of the prescribed instructional model that they were in, and they wanted to be more expansive in what they could, expose young people to. So we get that as well. So definitely so.
Thank you so much. And I do want to be respectful of the time of our representatives. Are there, really quick, Rolando, are there opportunities for volunteering? Is that possible?
There are currently, we're not accepting volunteers at our clubhouses. We are going to relook at that policy come the new year, but there's tremendous amount of opportunities to volunteer with us in a lot of different ways. I can spend the whole 60 minutes talking about all the different opportunities, but there is. We will be relooking at that policy though come January 2021.
Michelle, I see that you were able to grab that question, if you don't mind. If I understand if people had prior obligations and need to log off, we'd like to thank you all again. Michelle, if you wanted to answer that question,
Just quickly.
you're more than welcome to.
Sure. We're located currently at 369 Pine Street in the Financial District in Montgomery, and we will just be moving a few blocks away come the spring to Folsom. That's it.
Thank
So
you.
we're staying in the city.
Thank you so much. And this was actually, since we still have you all here, most of these positions I know are in person, but some of them are remote. Is that correct? Just to confirm, are any of the positions happening remotely, or to my understanding, most of these will be in-person positions? Pretty much, yeah. Okay, great. Just to confirm, someone had a question about remote opportunities. And yeah, thank you all again so much for coming and answering some of the questions. If any more questions pop up, we'll reach out to you directly to get those questions answered from you through email. Again, I don't want to take up too much of your time. We really appreciate you coming and sharing your information and your expertise and the positions that you have available with our students, alumni, and community members. Thank you again so much. And we really look forward to continuing our partnership with you all at the Career Readiness and Job Placement team.
Thank you so
Thank
much
you.
for
Thank
inviting
you.
us, meeting all the other fellow participants.
Thank you so much. And I will be adding you all on LinkedIn if you have it. So please look out for my request.
Yep, please connect.
Yes. Have a wonderful day, everyone. Thank you so much.
Everyone.
Thank you. Bye.
Goodbye.
Bye, everyone.
Is Elise still here? Let me see. Hi, Elise. I'm sorry. I just seen your question here for the Connect to the Business page. We don't have a business page for the panelists. If you're interested in connecting, I would suggest finding them on LinkedIn if you have their names. Give me 1 second.